As life on our planet is pushed to an ultimate edge, there are places that survive with unparalleled biodiversity very close to human existence, giving humanity hope of coexistence, fostering a harmonious relationship where both humans and biodiversity can thrive in a balanced ecosystem. As the world grapples with the consequences of global biodiversity loss, join us as we explore the last frontiers of coexistence, seeking lessons on how humans and nature continue to survive together and share the planet side by side. So, as an organization, we at the Nature People Network learned about a landscape in central India called the Khatgora Forest Landscape in the state of Chhattisgarh that is not officially protected, but was nothing short of teeming with biodiversity and wildlife right next to humans in ways you would easily classify as unique and rare in its own ways.
Now we arrived to the place. So, good evening, everyone. We just arrived to the place where we're gonna spend the next 4 days. So that's pretty remote. There isn't much, and also, so we will be exploring probably like 1 hour from here. But that was the closest place we could find, let's say. So that's gonna get interesting. First night, we already saw a jungle cat. So let's see how things goes. So good morning, everyone. First day. So today we are in Chhattisgarh. So that's a region of central India, and basically we are here for a really interesting project. So you will hear more about it today. It's our first day, so yeah, let's get it started.
As clueless as we were, we wanted to explore and learn the key principles making coexistence in the landscape possible. Scenes like the one of this jackal trying to get his share of a cow carcass, while at first sight might seem uncommon, was not so uncommon in this landscape, as the battle for space between humans and animals seemed to be the norm, which was exactly what became more apparent as our journey unfolded.
Hi everyone. So today we are with Shreyansh. Shreyansh, what are we doing here?
So, Remy, in 2022, an agreement was signed between 197 countries at UN's Convention of Biological Diversity COP15, where they said if they want to protect humanity, if we all want to protect humanity, we need to conserve 30% of land and water for nature by 2030. Which is a huge task, because that amount of land or that amount of water free of human settlement or human dependence is not really available. So we are here in one of such land parcels which we personally believe could be a template of that kind of conservation, where community leads conservation efforts in an area that has tremendous biodiversity and wildlife.
So what are the concrete action we're gonna do out of this?
So the concrete action we'll do is, first, we have heard that probably this place has bears, sloth bears to be specific. So we living in very close proximity to humans. So we will explore whether or not this claim is true. We'll try seeing what other kind of biodiversity and wildlife inhabit this place, both plants as well as animals and birds. And meantime, we'll also see how the community interacts with this ecosystem and what are the challenges.
That sounds like a good plan. Let's go. Let's spend the next 4 days in the forest.
So, the tip we had for the place was initially centered around the presence of sloth bears. We had heard the place was firstly completely unprotected, second had a huge cave, and third had sloth bears living in the cave, right behind a well-populated human settlement. But that was not all.
Okay, so now we are just walking in the area. We heard about the den of Aina.
There is a lot of skull here, a lot of bones.
Okay.
Sending more bone pictures.
And our colleague found
A
out
goat.
an Aina, so we
ये
are
वही मार के खाया
moving
हुआ लाया
around. We are moving around to find something.
The region we were exploring seemed like a mix of different habitats. Moist and dry deciduous forests, a good mix of scrubland and grasslands, all seemed to intermingle in the region, creating a mosaic of an overperforming ecosystem, very capable of supporting complex biodiversity. That, for such a small landscape, was truly unique.
So we just arrived in the closest city from the place we are doing the conservation project. So that's pretty small city, a bit noisy as you can hear. Okay, so tell us, what's the plan for the afternoon?
So the plan for the afternoon is, well, first we go to the village. We try speaking with people about hyena presence. They're allegedly.
Did you find a hyena?
I actually found a hyena this morning. Out of my surprise, we have been speculating hyena presence in the region because of the geography and geology and the habitat. It's all canyons and open, dry, deciduous forests, so we have been thinking that. But we have been hearing from people more and more often that there is no hyena presence, so we were not expecting it. This morning, though, we did see a hyena. When we spoke with locals, what turned out to be a fact that hyena is known by a different local name, so maybe there was a miscommunication throughout.
That makes sense. Okay, let's see this afternoon then.
So now we are next to the hyena den. So all around us here there are different dens, at least different caves, and with ponds everywhere. We spotted an hyena like 1 hour ago around here. So yeah, we're just waiting in the bushes and see if something would come up or not. Hopefully it will, yeah. We can even find like some I guess that might be a buffalo, I'm not too sure. If it's not, then it should be a cow.
So we're just setting up our first camera trap. This is the sensor where Remy works on setting up the camera and the lens. And finally the flash if the bear shows up at night when the lighting is not great.
So we just dropped the camera trap. That was a bit of a rush because I forgot the SD card and then the battery was dead and all of that, so that took some time, and now it's almost key time where the bear might come out, so we had to be quick. Now we might go walk around, try to see if we see hyenas, and then let's see, let's come back later.
So we just spotted the hyena. We went back to the den that we found yesterday and it was there. So it seems that it's really skittish because there was a group of kids that came and she directly, or he directly, I'm not too sure yet, flew away. So now we also spotted a couple of jackal walking here. So we are just staying, but the noise you hear from the city like disturb them, you can see clearly, so I guess we won't get much for now.
So now we are just by the village, so that's pretty much like 5 to 10 minute walk from the place where you can see hyena, like what we saw this morning. So that's pretty quick. You can maybe even hear the bell from the cow. So that's a normal, like, let's say, pathways for like farmers and like herders here. But yeah, that's really impressive to see the proximity between those animals and the village and the population.
So now it's 6:30. We are still waiting for the bear. So far no signs, but they tend to come out at this time. So yeah, we're gonna see. if something comes up, but the light start to be quite challenging, so I'm not sure we're gonna be able to see much here. Now we just found some bear poop. So far nothing, but it will come up soon, I think.
Not only did we see a female sloth bear hitching her 2 cubs on her back, she seemed to be a resident and was actively using the den. To think of a 200 to 300 pound sloth bear living in a human-dominated landscape with people around was just so fascinating. Sloth bears are known to get ferocious when it comes to defending themselves in presence of any perceived threat. That's what was so amusing to us. How can something so big live in such close proximity to humans with no one really knowing about it and 0 known human fatalities? Even more amusing was the symbiotic way the landscape was shared between the sloth bear being active only at night and humans active only during the day. The resources used and human pressure on the region was seemingly high. We did see unchecked cattle ranching, high logging pressure, and rapidly increasing levels of human encroachment that locals are aware would do more harm to the ecosystem in the long run. Regardless of all the current challenges, the forest ecosystem showed a native resilience, but the community also seemed to exhibit an attitude of coexistence that was holding it all together. So what exactly was helping to make this coexistence and reverence possible?
So now we are on our way to the elephant. You can see they broke some trees here. So yeah, we are probably around.
Before we try answering this though, let us tell you about the elephants and the fact that the region also has resident elephants in adjacent forests, which the local authorities and the forest department have been conserving and monitoring using infrared drones to avoid conflict with humans at night. The vastness of the forest calls for thermal drones to be used, which work best at night in order to spot the elephant population. Once spotted, alarms throughout the village are sounded using a locally developed application to alert locals of elephant presence. As quite recently, there was an incident of encroachment by an elephant on human land, breaking down a local village's house door. To avoid this, the local forest department are now using technology to facilitate cohabitation between human and animals with limited conflict.
Okay. This is the app.
ये लालपुर दिस विलेज
Okay.
लालपुर
Alert send.
मैसेज 9 ये 9 हाथी
सावधान आपके गांव से
सायरन बजने लगा देखिए
विचरण हो रहा है
No.
अलार्म बज रहा है
Alarms.
Central India exhibits unparalleled coexistence amongst people and wild animals. However, this delicate coexistence hinges entirely on cultural beliefs of the local communities that are now being tested in times of economic constraint. Therefore, under our current day challenges, where protecting 30% of all our planet's land and water is a scientific necessity to safeguard humanity and its future, it becomes absolutely necessary to address communities' challenges and empower them to conserve such places. Community-driven ecotourism models, along with helping local people get the actual market value of renewable forest products and commodities, whose prices are often chipped away by middlemen by 400 to 600%, might actually incentivize locals to continue practicing their traditional conservation values, help them avoid encroachment upon systems for agriculture, and gain economic returns from conservation. In some cases, even preliminary level ownership of landscapes with conservation mentorship might assist in actually saving the landscapes. Ultimately, saving pristine places and wildlife depends upon empowering humans neighboring these landscapes to do so.